Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. In this video, I want to talk about some things that I've recently purchased within the past year, year and a half from Harbor Freight. And I want to talk about these items and some issues that I have with them. In this video, the point of this video isn't necessarily to bash Harbor Freight. That's not what I'm looking to do, because they are a lower price store and you kind of know what you're going to get. At least, I do. But I want to talk about some reasons, just some considerations when you're purchasing things from them. So what you see here are just a few items that I purchased from them. I don't really buy a whole lot from them, but there's been kind of a lot of, I guess, we'll say, buzz around them about, maybe being a value price tool brand and things like that. There's certain things that they have. And one of the big things was this Braun Light that everybody seems to recommend and whatever. So we'll talk about this. So all the stuff I purchased, with my own money. This blowgun, this is a Merlin blowgun. This is, how do you screw up a blowgun, right? This thing's, it's just a cheapie. There's a rubber, it's laying right here. There's a rubber piece for the thumb valve here. That falls off all the time, obviously. This thing's not deburred at all, so it's relatively sharp. Now, again, not a big deal. A guy can just file that down. It's not the end of the world. This rubber tip, it's threaded in here. This thing, a little bump there and it'll knock it right off. It's really kind of loose in there, which, especially when you're using it, which, whatever. I know some guys don't care. Some guys might. I prefer it on there because it's nice to get into small areas like a bolt hole or something, or if you're drilling something out, you want to clean the shavings out or whatever. I prefer it on there. So if you're looking for something like this, I wouldn't advise for this thing. It's cheap, but I would look for something maybe with a metal tip or brass tip or something like that, something a little bit better built. And would I fix this thing? No, it's, the tip keeps falling off. I ain't gonna mess with it. Icon ratchet, 1/4-inch ratchet here. This thing's only about 2-3 months old. Barely use this thing at all. And it binds when you put a little pressure, especially if you've got any length of extension on the end of it. You put a little pressure either really any way and it binds and it doesn't ratchet. Super annoying. So there's obviously something wrong with it. So now I think that these are warranted, so I'll probably have to take that back and hopefully there's something wrong with it and I'll get one that works. This Merlin inflator. This is basically kind of a copy of this Milton here. So this Milton one, I bought this, I bet you 10, 11 years ago or so. Milton, I believe, is made in America. I thought I paid like $55 for this thing back then. I might have, I don't know. But I was at the store when I bought this air hose, and I'll talk about, this is on a retractable coil, this air hose. I'll talk about that in a minute too. I bought this and that air hose the same day, I believe, about a year and a couple months ago, just over a year ago. And how do you screw up an inflator, right? Well, I don't know, but it doesn't work very well. I think that there's something wrong. I think the problem's in the chuck. I think it doesn't depress the Schrader valve correctly. I haven't really diagnosed it, but it takes forever to fill a tire. So it's moving air slowly. So my guess is it's in the valve, would be my guess. In the chuck. I wouldn't think there's something wrong with the valve, but maybe. I don't know. It doesn't. It's garbage. It's not. It doesn't work. Something's wrong with it. So now either I screw around with replacing the chuck or do whatever, which I'll probably still do because I want to try to still salvage the thing if I can. But I got to address it. Right, there's something wrong with it. Milton, good to go. No issue. Only thing there's some, you can kind of see it there, this paint's kind of coming off a little bit on that gauge face, but, no issues, good to go. This Braun Light. Now, these things were kind of a buzz a couple of years ago, and they got a different model than this now. The one thing I will say is on the high setting, it is fairly bright, and the magnet works pretty good. That's about it. This thing's kind of loosey-goosey in here. The fitment's not very good. This thing kind of rocks around in there. And for whatever reason, it does just randomly turn off. Even when it says it's charged, when it's charged, that light's green like that, see that? And it'll just randomly just turn off when I'm using it. So that bugs me, really annoying. And I'll turn it back on and it'll last for a little bit and it'll pop back off, and I've only have 10 minutes or so on it from charging. It doesn't seem to be the charge. I don't know if there's something loose in the connection. I don't know, but for that reason, it bugs the crap out of me. And then the battery doesn't last very long at all, especially on high setting. So there's other lights out there, actually cheaper than that last longer than this one does. So I wouldn't recommend this, which is probably a shock because everybody seems to recommend this thing, but I would not. I would not buy another one. This air hose, as I mentioned, this thing's on I think it's a Central Pneumatics hose reel. It's supposed to be like their industrial deal. I think it was on sale from $79 to $59 a year ago when I bought it. And it seemed to be decent. It retracts well. It's, that seemed to be good to go. It does leak if you leave air on it. It does leak out. So it's done that since day one, which most hoses do. It's kind of just a thing. So I just put a valve in the compressor and turn it off. So that's not the end of the world for me. But this thing's, again, only about a year old, and I used it the other day to fill a tire. And this is kind of what sparked this video too. Was I was just getting frustrated with all this stuff, but. Look at that. I mean, this hose is just shot. This hasn't been exposed to any kind of sunlight. It does get bits of oil here and there, but I mean, the hose is just shot. So it's not going to be long now with that. That's going to go all the way around there. And that thing's going to just come apart. So then I'll have to replace the hose. So I guess my point is, of all this, it's cheaper stuff, but my point is now I got to deal with all these things. So yeah, and the real kicker is this. This thing I looked is $35 from Harbor Freight for this Merlin. That I thought I paid like $50 for this thing, but I looked on Amazon and it was $43. So for $8, you can go to American Made that is a quality piece versus this. So. That's kind of a no-brainer there. I know that these quarter-inch ratchets, if you go to a tool truck, you're going to be significantly more expensive, probably more than double, triple what this costs. But maybe Williams tool. Some of their stuff's made in the USA. Keep an eye on it. But some Wright tools, Proto. There's other things out there. So I wouldn't buy another one of those, obviously, because I had a problem with it. This thing, garbage. This thing, problem with it. This thing, issue with it, turning it on and off. Hose is coming apart. So that's just, these 5 items I've had an issue with every one of them. Now it's not, some of these issues aren't a big deal, but they're still, that's my point, is do you want to address this now? And now I replace this hose and I'm going to go buy a decent hose because this one's trash. So if I would have just did it from the get-go, I would be money ahead. That's my point with some of this stuff, guys. Think about longevity. We're so quick in America just to buy, the cheapest Chinese garbage that comes off. And then we're throwing it away and we're doing it all over again. So sometimes it pays to save a little money or save up a little money and pop for the good stuff, especially when you're going to use it. And in all cases, it depends on what you're doing with it as well. I understand that. But, that's my 2 cents on the Harbor Freight stuff. So from here on out, I'll probably stay away from that store. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.